Nobody can hear you. Nope. They can't hear me either. Oh, they can hear me. Stream can't hear you. Hi, stream. Bobby's gonna fix it, maybe. Well, now I can't hear you on Discord.
Or they should be able to hear me on stream. Yeah. Should be good.
Hear you back on Discord again.
Good.
Okay. All right, we're good. Hey,
okay.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Chase. I was at the local grocer. Had a very weird moment where I saw, like, I was going down by the bread, and on the aisle, like end cap, they had this cutout that was like, it was Little Debbie kind of looking at you from the bread, like at the end. So like she'd be peeking around, like coming around the corner type thing.
Okay, sure.
So I make eye contact with Little Deb, and it hit me that I've been making eye contact with Little Debbie or Little Deb since 30 years ago. 40 years ago, really. And
okay.
I was like, well, what made Little Deb last longer than those other snacks that were really good? Like, what was the staying power for Little Debbie? Because I've like literally been eating the same few things from Little Debbie my entire life.
Sure.
But there's certain snacks and drinks and cereals and all that shit that just didn't last, didn't have the staying power, did not make it. And I mean, look.
We've done this before, right? Like a ranking of Little Debbie.
I don't think we've put it on paper, but we do have a deep dive next week, and maybe it's time that we dust off Little Deb and deep dive with Little Deb next week. But no, we've definitely talked about it.
I forget like which ones are Little Debbie versus which ones are other things. I need to. Well,
I mean, you've got. I think the easy one is Hostess versus Little Deb.
Yeah.
And I think. You know,
okay, that one's Little Debbie. That's good. That's a good one to know.
I don't think it's a close. I think Little Debbie laps eternally. Hostess.
I think that's probably true.
Or maybe that's the fucking bracket next week. Maybe we just build out a Little Debbie versus Hostess tournament and do really an actual
video games. But okay, I could be up for that.
It's a deep dive.
It's very deep.
But anyway, I just had this moment where I'm just like, it's awesome that I get to have Little Debbie as much as I do. But there's certain things, it's like there's been some nostalgia bait videos. It's like, hey, if you went to high school in this period, here's what the snacks you love that aren't anymore. And it's like, damn, I did eat the shit out of those. Or like Sarah and I were having a conversation about there was like these things called ice mints that were little beads that you popped.
Yeah,
Dude,
I had those.
Your breath was fresh for a week after one of those. Like you didn't have to do shit. They were probably illegal. That's why we don't have them anymore.
I mean, they looked like fish roe or like caviar.
They absolutely did. And as an ex-cigarette smoker, you will not convince me that the ice packs or whatever they were called were not repurposed into the filter of the Camel Crush cigarettes. And you would pop one of those to get extra menthol. All of us are fucking doomed.
I enjoyed the Listerine strips that eventually
those are still around, my friend.
Well, yeah, I know they are, but like, you know, in high school or middle school or whatever, it's like, I'm taking LSD because I'm like putting a thing on my tongue and it dissolves.
Unless it gets stuck to the roof of your mouth and doesn't dissolve at the normal speed, and then you're stuck feeling like you got jelly on your fucking roof. Nightmare.
Hate jelly on my roof. Bobby, I have good news. The 4 snacks that I was thinking of that would go in my Mount Rushmore of snack foods, all Little Deb. So we're
Little Deb always takes the cake. She gives and equally takes the cake.
Good stuff. Yep.
Well, she has good stuff for sure. All right. We are here to talk about video games. We are just not pretty faces that know snacks. I've been playing some new stuff, and I don't think that was supposed to happen. Last I checked, this was supposed to be a down month where it's catching up on things, getting ready for the onslaught.
There's never a down month for you. You've always picked like 8 games every month.
I'm down bad every month. I'm just not down. I'm down bad. I've been playing some new stuff, and these are things that we have definitely checked out in other fashions, that whether it was our own monthly, curated, I should say, monthly preview list, or the Steam Next Fest demos that we tend to play on Monday night. So a couple things. I'm not going to go super deep on any of these, but I will tell you, I think these are really cool games. So we're going to talk about Omen. We're going to talk about Tears of Metal. And briefly, Chase got to hang out with me at the repair shop on Monday night for ReStory. I talked a lot about that game on here. I finally beat it. And if Chase and I would have stuck it out 5 more minutes, he would have saw that with me. But I really enjoyed that game. I don't know how much more there is for me to go back to their endless loop. They are
getting that $1,000,000 license thing. The last credits thing, or is there more?
No. So what was really like? There's a lot of stuff on how you could help people that were like your frequent customers, and they kind of gave you, what should I do here? Would you do this or this? Like little weird things, and you can kind of direct them how to do it. And I don't know if there's multiple endings for this game or they all kind of converge here, but there was this corporate buyout that was going to happen. And there was supposed to be this big concert. Well, all those got wired up and you weren't able to have this concert. They run out of funding or something to that degree. And you're like, hey, I'll just sell my shop to pay for this concert. Like, it's cool. Like, I will do that. I will figure out another thing. And so you kind of look like the game ends on a black screen. Like, that's it. You chose the bad ending. And
so that is a choice, though.
No, I thought it was, but then it comes back on the next day, and I didn't realize that one of the repairs I did for this guy was like one of the main attractions for the concert, and they ended up like raising all this money for the community, and the community decided to buy your shop for you, and so like the game ends, you don't have to pay rent anymore, you have all your tools and all that. So it was kind of a cute like, hey, you gave to the community, they give back, whatever. Sure. There's a couple license. There's one license. I'm like $100,000 away for the phone that I showed you. I was trying to get the $1,000,000, and then there's maybe 2 or 3 upgrades to the shop. I think I will run through it just to kind of get everything, because it's like 3 things, and it should take me no time at all. And then I'll be done with it, unless they add in more devices, a DLC for it, which that game sold.
That seems like it would be an easy thing for
100%
to add in. Like they have not that it would be easy to necessarily make more content, but they at least have the things in place to be able to do something.
They could
like that.
do a time jump and just like bring in more tech from the last few years too. So
sure.
I think that game sold like 300,000 copies in its first week, which is pretty good.
Welcome. I bought one.
You were one of them. So anyway,
for you, but,
for me. ReStory, very, very good game.
Does that count as me beating a video game?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I bought a video game and it got beaten. Like that's, I can put a little star next to that.
Like if you watched me play a game and it was completed, call it good. These next 2 games, I definitely think one would be fun for you to watch. I don't know how much you would enjoy it. Maybe you would. The other one, I think about you every time I play this game. And I just tell myself,
I think about the game a lot. I see it, and I was like, man, once it comes to a real console, I'll play this.
I think that game would be right up your alley. And that game is Tears of Metal. This came out July 22nd. It is from early access game. Yeah. $24.99 early access. I will tell you, I have not seen anything yet that would tell me this game is not done. So that's either me not being great at it, which I've gotten pretty decently far in it, I would say, for the time I've put into it. But to not bury the lead too far on Tears of Metal, it is Hades meets Dynasty Warriors. And maybe, yeah, I guess it would be kind of like more Hades. I was going to say Vampire Survivor, but I think it's definitely more Hades the more I think about it. So this is, I don't know if it's authentically based off of history or folklore or any of those things, but you start the game, I should say, as Braveheart. And you are basically going into these big giant battles, and you have a island or a home world at the end of those runs that you are upgrading events in that area, or like, I guess, one sort of handout that you can get there. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's a vendor kind of, maybe, but different. So you have that, and then you have the characters that you're unlocking. And when you unlock a new character, they become a highlightable area on this map that you can go into, and then you're upgrading their gear and a skill tree. And you're getting a persistent currency on each run that you use to come back and upgrade those 2 things. So one is upgrading more of like the commanders that you can bring with you, or how many slots you would have available. And then you're upgrading things on 10% more HP, or now you get this parry ability or something to that degree. And then you can upgrade the sword, the shield, the armor that you're wearing. And those all have boons with them as well, which is really, really cool when you unlock it. The gameplay is straight up Dynasty Warriors though. Like the combos, the inputs, you have main objectives on this big
hordes
map
of enemies that you're cutting through. Yeah.
100%. And what I like about this, and I don't have nearly as much experience with the series that you do with Dynasty Warriors. Mine is really just more the Hyrule stuff. But you're charging up this gauge, and at certain intervals, you get the ability to hold down the right shoulder button and then use a face button to have one of your commanders do something. And depending on how you are loaded out, you could have archers, you could have spearmen, you can have cavalry, and they all have a unique type of ability. Like one would be if you really wanted to do specific single enemy damage, like a boss fight, you can just have it raining down arrows on one person, versus your ultimate is just this gigantic wall of arrows with your character. A second character I unlocked is more melee driven. They have shields on their forearms, and then they're just fisticuffs. And so their big ultimate is kind of like what was the Street Fighter that could punch really quick? Honda.
Yeah.
Like E-Honda. Like it's kind of like his move that you do there.
Mm-hmm.
But you're controlling your commanders, you're taking over points of interest. They're usually a boss fight. Or a sub boss in those areas, and then you clear all those and you go into a really big fight. So for me, I played the Dynasty Warriors Origin game. I think that was the name of it, that came out the same year as the last Hyrule Warriors. This plays more.
That game also sounds pretty similar. And Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes that I had played somewhat recently also has some kind of that, where they're trying to like bring the Gambit system from Three Houses into that, where yes, you have your Muso attacks, which are your ultimates, but then you also had these kind of modifier moves that are some kind of special moves. And Dynasty Warriors Origins had that too, where it's like, hey, here's like a big, charge attack that you can do that breaks through defense and guarding. So that's kind of what this sounds like as well, which is cool. I like that. It's the problem with Dynasty Warriors games is that they are extremely repetitive. So they've continued to try to find ways of building on new mechanics for those games over so many entries, and you get to a point where maybe there's too much stuff going on.
Sure.
So it's cool to see a more indie developer take a chance at this with something that looks really cool. The art in this game is awesome. It reminds me a little bit of the Primal, the Genny.
Oh yeah.
100%. That animated show. But this is like full 3D, but the cell shading stuff on it, it looks really, really nice.
One last thing I'll say that I think is a cool mechanic. There is a threat level that raises similar to a Risk of Rain as you're doing this run. So you can actually kind of ping pong. Like usually you pick a lane on a run-based game and you just kind of go down that lane. This one gives you a lot of flexibility, and like you can kind of go up and down, which the idea is you want to kind of do that because you're adding more difficulty. So every few threat levels, now there might be more archers that you're up against. Now there's an extra cavalry unit against you. But as you get to the boss fight, those all convert into a buff for you. So it could be more stamina, it could be more health. So it's kind of this risk reward that you're doing to get to that boss fight, because your health is persistent on the run. So you're trying to like balance out, like, am I buying more upgrades that are like damage multipliers, or am I buying health? So they give you some things that are kind of quirky to manage along those runs. I think there's a lot that you can tinker. There's a lot of cool build stuff. There's a lot of mixing and matching commanders. I really think when you can play this game, you will have a great time with it. But it has multiplayer, so when you do get to play it, I would love to play this beside you, because I think that would be really fucking cool.
Sure.
Tears of Metal.
It looks like it's up to 4-player co-op. I did look up the Steam version just to see what they have to say about early access, and their point is, why are you in early access? We want to engage with the community to make the game better. With player feedback, we can add quality of life features and make sure the game runs without issue. Additionally, we have content planned to be released that will also benefit from player feedback, like new heroes, emblems, and charms.
Oh, cool.
And it just from the way all this is reading, there's more that I've been reading as we've been going on, but it reads more like, yes, this is kind of a finished game, but we're going to put it out and maybe make a little money on it right now, as we can polish it
Smart.
up to get it over the finish line. They do say they're planning to be in early access for 4 to 12 months, depending on feedback from players, and that they're planning to add more gameplay content, more voice acting, balancing, performance, and stability.
That's awesome.
And add more languages as well. So it does seem like, unlike some other early access games, which can kind of feel like a demo or something that is, hey, we're not done building this game, we need help from the community to help us get there. This one feels maybe a little bit more like Hades in early access. Not only Hades from how it plays, but Hades in early access too.
That's a good call.
This is kind of a finished game, but when we get feedback from players, maybe there are things that we can tweak or add in to make this a more complete game. But this game is polished and looks good and sounds good and feels good already. Like, we know we have something here, and we just kind of need to put the finishing touches on it.
I do think, I know we're talking about doing a series for Big Walk. I have, just to like kind of spill it out here, next week will be a full week for us. We're going to take the last week of the month off. So maybe I'll show you Tears of Metal on Monday. Sure. I take the week off. We come back, kick off that series in September, and run with some Big Walk.
Bobby never wants me to play Big Walk ever again.
Never again.
He's keeping it from me. He knows I have no one else to play it with, and he's like, well, fuck you. You never get to try it.
Audience, he has not asked me to play Big Walk once since I set up the stream.
I have asked for the series that we will do for Casual Mondays.
That's fair. Omen, you saw a demo of this. I will be brief on this one. I think Omen is really fucking cool, and that is how I felt when we played the demo. This is a single-player extraction shooter. This is the one that has kind of a isometric, arcadey feeling ship where you would warp into, like, basically you've got your contractors at your hub where you're building up to a tower defense mode. So you're doing extraction runs to get loot, to then come back and have this big RTS fight where you have to defend your base with the shit you're going out on the runs and getting. So you want to craft like just minimal things. You're basically, do I want to build out a turret gun, or do I want to build out like a stasis field? And you're choosing those things. So it's not like a chopping down trees crafting thing before you get all upset here. It is just, which one do you want to build? Mm-hmm. I was able to upgrade my ship a few different ways and tinker and play around with different weapon configurations. I figured out also like, oh, this is extraction, so I might want to go out with a key in my pocket so I can unlock a certain thing there. And you kind of learn what sectors have things for the loadout that you have. Game gets really fucking hard, but it looks like they got some good tweaks for difficulty on it. It's rad, dude. That game is fucking awesome. The artwork on it is so goddamn good. The little cutscenes that happen are really well done. I think the repetitive nature of it being a looter shooter kind of works in its favor, because you're going to go into each zone and you're getting goods to come back and build stuff. So you want that predictability of like, okay, cool, I'm going to be able to get a focusing crystal on this run. I'm going to be able to get a computer on this one. I'm going to be able to do this one quest that's going to unlock a blueprint that gets me that really badass dragon gun I picked up. Now I can just craft it back at my base. So I do like the loop of an extraction shooter without other people a lot more than I do playing with a group, because this is just me kind of pressing against the difficulty of like, okay, I'm getting close. I have 30 seconds before this raid. Let me grab my shit, get out of here really quick, and have a good time with it. This is from Codex Interactive. I don't think they've done a whole lot of other stuff. Yeah, just this. It came out August 11th. It is fully out, 1.0. $11.99. There is still a demo available for this one on Steam. I don't know if this is on any other.
I don't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, that tracks though. So yeah, maybe I could see this going on the Switch very easily. Like, the graphics aren't anything that's like overpoweringly. It's just more stylized. But Omen is fucking rad. And
like from a keyboard layout, I mean, I'm seeing here just in screenshots and things, it looks like it has, I would say, extremely light MMO style of, here's your key bindings for all these things that are at the bottom of the screen. But in these screenshots I'm seeing, there's like 5 of them, which could easily be mapped to buttons.
Oh, it has control support.
Oh, okay. Well, then, then there's kind of no
and
excuse
they
at that
actually
point.
just did a patch to make that even better. So like, I've played it with my Steam controller and had no issues. Like it's been kind of it's cool. Like,
well, again, maybe when it comes to a real console, I'll give it a shot.
When it comes to a console, you're right. Okay. So that was Omen, that was Tears of Metal, and then credits on ReStory, courtesy of Chase. Chase, besides beating games via me, are you playing games via you?
I am. I don't know if you've heard, Bobby. I haven't been very vocal about it, but there's a new Fire Emblem game coming out in about a month. Pray tell. Have I mentioned that at all? Once or twice?
You've mentioned that you don't like new Fire Emblem games. Yes.
That's not true. You don't like new Fire Emblem games. I liked Engage.
I like more new Fire Emblem games than you do.
I don't know if that's true either, but to each their own. But with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave coming out relatively soon, I have been in a Fire Emblem kick. I went and played that Life of Saros ROM hack that was kind of a prequel to
that was a Game Boy Advance, right?
That was a Game Boy Advance ROM hack, ROM hack of Fire Emblem 8 Sacred Stones. Okay. And I enjoyed that quite a bit. And I considered playing another ROM hack. I, in fact, started another ROM hack and went, this is cool. I heard a lot of good things about it, but it also goes nuts on the skills and abilities that your units have. And it almost becomes more of a puzzle game, it feels like, because you have so many things available to you. Sure. And if anybody's interested, that was called Fire Emblem Cerulean Crescent, which is a pretty well-regarded ROM hack. And one I might still go back and play at some point. But I kind of just wanted to play a more traditional Fire Emblem game. And Bobby and I, because we're doing stuff with our AYN Thors, one of the things that I was having Bobby help me get up and running was the 3DS support stuff, and specifically Fire Emblem Awakening, Fates, and Shadows of Valentia, because those 3DS Fire Emblem games are some of my favorites. I had played Fire Emblem before that. I had played the original GBA one that came to America, which would have been 7. And then I played Shadow Dragon on my DS, and I really didn't like Shadow Dragon. I think that game looks like butt. Even if it plays okay, it just looks fucking terrible. I've never gone back to it because the DS Fire Emblems look so bad. But the 3DS Fire Emblems, specifically Awakening, is where I really fell in love with the series. I remember it was my first time coming to St. Louis because I went to college in Columbia. And so now it's like, hey, I'm in the big city now. I'm starting my new job. I thought it was going to be an internship. So I was at this extended stay hotel. And then, the internship turned into a job. And now I'm trying to find a place to live. But I just remember working at my job where I kind of didn't know anybody and didn't know anything. And I'd come back to this extended stay hotel, which felt fucking sketchy as hell. And this is about the time that the Xbox One is getting announced. Like, it's E3 time for the Xbox One. And we're talking about, like, this is where PlayStation is like, oh, here's how you lend games to your friend. And it's that bullshit that was happening at this time. And I just remember sitting in this crappy bed in this crappy extended stay hotel room, and all I really had was my 3DS. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't hanging out with anybody. I would just come back to this hotel room and I would play my 3DS and I would watch stuff on my laptop, and that was my day. And that would have been bad, except the game that I was playing on my 3DS was Fire Emblem Awakening. And I was having the fucking time of my life.
Sure.
Because this is one of my favorite games of all time. So I decided, let's go back and let's play some Fire Emblem Awakening, knowing that Fortune's Weave is about to come out. And I've just kind of been in a Fire Emblem mood. And, things have been kind of shitty lately, personally and professionally. And it's kind of
gestures nice broadly.
Yes, exactly. Yes, look at the world. So I kind of need this warm blanket. And I've been playing Fire Emblem Awakening again. and it's been great. I was playing it on the Thor, and I was having an okay time with it, but there were some performance issues, and there were some issues about getting the DLC on there that we were having. And at some point, I went, I own I own this game on multiple 3DSs. In fact, I own it on the 2DS XL that I bought from Bobby. So what if I just played it there? Because I'd never really played that 2DS XL very much, and I think that's a solid system. Feels good.
Yeah, man.
Good.
I the more I think about like that thing, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
So it's been getting a lot of play. I'm probably about, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 hours into Fire Emblem Awakening at this point. I've gotten through the first main story thing when you're facing Plagia, and now I'm on to the second place, which is Valm, where you get Walhart.
Can I ask you a
giant guy?
Strategy question on that game?
Yeah, go for it.
How do you approach who you try to bond and partner up together? Do you base that off of like your headcanon for these characters, or do you base it off of the skill of those characters?
It's been a couple different things over the time,
because I'm intimidated to even go down this rabbit hole because I feel like I have to min max this. So
yeah,
I think I would be playing a lot more of that game if I could get over my own bullshit with it. So I need you to tell me how to play this game.
I don't know if I'm the best person to ask because I also get caught up in that bullshit. The first time I played, I was picking pairings because I wasn't looking at guides or anything, so I was just picking pairings that seemed good to me. Because this is a game where you pair up the people. Originally, Fire Emblem Awakening was kind of the last gasp of Fire Emblem. So they threw intelligence systems, the series wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't selling that well. And they thought, well, let's just throw everything in here. Let's throw all these ideas that have been in previous Fire Emblem games together. And one of those ideas, it was from Fire Emblem 5, I think, had this marriage system and having kids and having a second act where you would then play with the kids and the kids would inherit all the skills. So they added that in here as one of the things. And yeah, I definitely, when I first played it, paired up people that I thought, hey, these two seem like they should go well together, or they have supports that go from C, B, A, and then S is where you get married. So if somebody had a good support conversation where I thought, oh, these two actually kind of have some chemistry, maybe they'd be kind of cute together. Let's go with that. And then, I got all the children and okay, yeah, hey, I like some of these kids a lot. And one of the things I also noticed is that only the women, which kid you get is based on the woman. So you can marry it up with different dads, but they'll always get the same kid for each female character. But they will take on the hair color of the dad. And that ended up bugging me as somebody who, bought the art book of Fire Emblem Awakening, and in the canon, images of these characters, they would have the hair color of the mom, because you wouldn't know in the canon, the quote unquote canon version, who the dad is. So they would always just have the hair color of the mom. So then on my second playthrough, I was very strategically picking characters, picking the dads who had a very similar hair color to the moms, so they would still have pretty close to the canonical hair color I was looking for the kids.
Hell yeah.
Which is not a great way to do it either. And then I played through that game a third time, because again, I had a lot of time on my hands at that point. And that one was more about getting all the right skills for the kids, because there are specific there are gender specific classes that some characters can get into, like Dark Flyer specifically is one only female characters can get into, and that had a really broken skill that male characters would not be able to have access to unless the mom had that as one of the skills that she would pass on to the son, and then the son would have that. So now I'm trying to min max, okay, how many times can I get Gale Force on all these kids, because that was the most broken skill at the time.
So they were inheriting the skill.
Yeah, exactly. They inherit one skill from the dad and one skill from the mom, and depending on where you slot that skill in the parents' skills list, and also making sure that they get the skills in the first place, which means they have to go through these classes before they have the child, then you can determine all that. So I've played it 3 different ways. which meant on this playthrough, I went, fuck it. I just want to go back and have a normal time. In fact, I really don't even want to play with the kids. Like, the kids are fine. The kids are cool and they're really strong, but I fell in love with Fire Emblem because I like the main cast of Fire Emblem Awakening. I like these guys, and the kids are okay too, but like, these are the characters I fell in love with. And I feel like at some point when you're playing that game, because the kids are just so much stronger, you eventually go, well, I don't need to play with any of the parents anymore. The kids just have all the good skills and they have all the good stats. There's no reason to play with the parents. So I went, fuck it. I want to play with the parents. I want to play with the DLC characters that can't have kids and are just part of your army. And I just want to play with like a more traditional style Fire Emblem game. And so I did that for a while. And then I went, well, I should just have them get married anyway. I don't have they'll still have the kids, but like, I should do the support things. I want to see the support conversations anyway. So they can have the kids, but I'm not going to worry about the skills. And now the more I play it, I go, well, I mean, I don't care about the kids, but if I'm going to have a kid, they probably should have the good skills just in case I ever want to use the kid. Maybe he'll have a good skill on it. And so, yes, I've absolutely.
Is this why you haven't played Mugenics? Because you would just become a madman?
I haven't played Mugenics for a lot of reasons. I still think that game is good, but there is a little bit of that Binding of Isaac. This game is just fucking gross, and I don't really want to play it, even if mechanically I think that game is really cool. But Fire Emblem Awakening, man, that game's great. Doesn't
it have your favorite character in it?
Who's my favorite character?
The chick. The blue-haired chick.
Oh, you mean Lucina?
Yeah.
I like Lucina a lot, yeah. I don't know if she's my favorite Fire Emblem character.
Is she in Awakening, though?
She is in Awakening, yeah.
Okay.
She's kind of the main character of Awakening. So
nice.
It's been really nice going back to this one. It's a game that I've kind of been scared to go back to for a while because Awakening has the weapon uses like a lot of Fire Emblem games do, and I don't like that system. But Fire Emblem Fates, the next one on the 3DS, doesn't have weapon uses. You just upgrade the weapons as you go. And then Shadows of Valentia, the other game on the 3DS, doesn't have weapon uses either, and you get new weapons. And I love Shadows of Valentia. So it's been very difficult for me in the past when I've tried to go back to Awakening and go like, I got to deal with weapon uses. I got to figure out all this bullshit. Like, I got to worry about economy shit. I just don't like some of this stuff, even if I like the characters and the story and that bullshit. But it's sitting down and actually saying, okay, you're going to play this. You're not going to worry too much about it. Especially after playing something like Life of Saros, which is, the GBA ones all have weapon uses as well. So I'm a little bit more used to the weapon uses again. It's been great. It has been really great to go back to this game that used to be one of, if not my favorite games of all time. And now, I can see it. I can see its flaws and I can see its strengths, and I'm still just kind of accepting it for what it is. And that's been really nice. I've been having a really great time with it. I'm playing on super easy settings. I'm playing it casually where the characters can come back if they die. I've never cared about the permadeath part of that, but it just has been a nice thing to go in and go, I'm just going to raise a couple levels this time, or I'm going to pair these two up because I kind of just feel like it. And, I'm going to put these weapons on these characters because I know that, the weapon uses don't really matter. I'll get more weapons eventually. And it's just been nice. It's just been nice. I don't know if I'm going to keep on playing it once Fortune's Weave comes out. I'll probably stop cold turkey, I imagine, because I
mean, it's not really cold turkey. You're going from one cigarette to, you're going from a Camel to a Marlboro.
Sure, but like, I don't think there's any reason for me to play 2 Fire Emblem games at the same time. That would be crazy.
I just was, as you were talking, I looked it up. There is a cheat code I'm looking at right now to input into Awakening on the Thor that gives you infinite durability.
Well, if you can put that on my Thor and make it work, then I will do it. I know that there's been modifications that have done that in the past, and I just have not had a modded 3DS in that way or gone in and done that. But yeah, if it was an easy enough thing to implement, I could see that working.
I think it's just a copy and paste of the code. That's all it is.
All right. Well, you make it happen. I'll play the video game.
Yeah, we can do that. Fire Emblem Awakening. That is. Would you say that it's fair for me to say that is the marquee title in the series?
No, I think at this point it's Three Houses. Three Houses was so popular. Like Awakening kept the series alive for sure. Like it certainly was a turning point where the series went from it was about to die to, oh wow, this is actually one of Nintendo's biggest franchises now. But I think it was Three Houses is the one that it really has had the mainstream appeal for everybody. That's the one that exploded it for everyone.
I was gonna say, just in the community stuff I've been seeing around like mods and whatnot, Awakening seems to be the one with the most reverence from people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a double-edged sword because you'll have a bunch of Fire Emblem old heads who are like, this is kind of where the series got ruined because it became all about pairings. It became all about so much of it's like more story stuff, and you know they certainly like Fire Emblem stories, but the idea of it's all about, you know, it got the casual mode, and you know this is like that's where it just became this mainstream kind of boring thing. And they really like the GBA games, they really like the GameCube games, they really like the Super Nintendo games. So that I think there's certainly a handful of Fire Emblem fans who go, Awakening was kind of the beginning of the end for Fire Emblem for us. And then there are a lot of people who are also like me. It's like, you know what, I can appreciate the old games, and I've gone back and played them, but this is really where I got into the series, and I really like a lot of that stuff, and it made it more accessible to somebody like me. And then, you know, Three Houses comes out, and that's even more accessible to even more people. I think Awakening is a really great place to start if you want to just try a Fire Emblem game. I think this is a really good place to start. Three Houses is also a fine place to start as well. And I'm really looking forward to Fortune's Weave. It sounds like they have a bunch of new systems in there. They're trying some new things.
There's a gun, right?
There's some kind of gun thing. Yeah. I haven't paid too much. I haven't paid too much attention to the spoilers that have been going on and the previews that are coming out, but I have seen at least that people seem to be enjoying this. Like the previews have seemed to be very positive. And it sounds like they're learning some of the issues from Three Houses. Like, remember we talked about this with Three Houses, where it was I had a really fantastic first playthrough of Three Houses, and I picked the Golden Deer. I had a great time with it. I went all the way through, and then I thought, okay, well, I'll try another route now. I'll go with another house and run through that story because I had a really good time. And I had a terrible time because you have to go back to the monastery stuff, and there's all this busy work between the battles, and I hated that. I just hated feeling like I was just wasting a bunch of time. And the thing that's made me most excited about Fortune's Weave, well, first, the thing that made me scared about Fortune's Weave is this is a game with a bunch of different main characters with a bunch of different routes. And if I'm playing as this character, you know, I can go through that route, but then I'm going to have to replay the game, and it's going to be the same bullshit again. I'm going to have to go through all that kind of monastery stuff, even if the monastery in this game is, you know, a bigger, more expansive city thing. But I'm thinking, fuck, I don't want to do this. But in one of the Fire Emblem Directs they had, you can switch characters and keep the game is built so you can switch characters and build up their stories all at once. So you can kind of just keep switching and keep everyone going up at the same time.
I'm at this point. So now I'm at like chapter A, but I'm sorry, I'm at chapter 1, but I'm at chapter 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, because you can just like basically say, I've done that for them, I'm going to redo this right now.
Not exactly. Because you still have to go through all of their stories, but the game makes it easier to switch from character to character and build up those stories. So instead of going, okay, I'm going, and all through one save file too, which I think is probably more important. Because in Three Houses, like, okay, I'm going to go Golden Deer all the way. But I guess you could have said, I'm going through Golden Deer on this save, I'm going through Blue Lions on this save, I'm going through Black Eagles on that save, and just kind of do 3 different saves and keep them going. But it seems like this game, Fortune's Weave, is designed to go, okay, I'm going to do story mission 1 with the little boy character. Okay, and now I'm going to go and switch to the bard girl, and I'm going to switch to her and do story mission 1 with her. Or if you wanted to, it seems like the game is also built in a way where it's like, I'm just going to pick the bard girl and play the whole way through her. But I think there might be some parts of the story that might unlock if you have progress with multiple characters and you've seen up to their stories, and maybe that opens up other things to you. So it does seem like this is a game that is built more to experience all the stories rather than picking a single route, playing it all the way through, and then maybe not picking it up again, like you and I did with Three Houses.
Did you get the big collector's edition version of it?
No, I don't need that shit. I just want the game.
And then the other question I have for you, because you've been critical of this in the past with these games, is the artwork. Like, that's something that I hear you call out a lot on these games, because I think it does vary, from game to game. Like, where's this one hitting on your I think
radar? So far it's been pretty good. I like the character designs. I like the character art style, rather. I don't think there have been a lot of characters that I go, ooh, I can't wait to play with that character. I haven't fallen in love with anybody yet, and maybe that'll come with the voice acting or the personalities, or maybe some of the designs that I just haven't seen yet. But the thing that really bugged me about Three Houses was whenever you were in those support conversations, those backgrounds looked fucking terrible.
Oh, like, yeah, they weren't good.
They were these stretched out textures that just looked god awful. And Engage was a little bit better about those, but it's still...
That was a Switch limitation.
A little bit. And also Engage had the VTuber artist who, I think did fine, but those are not necessarily my cup of tea of designs.
No.
And it's also tough because I think Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia is the most beautiful game ever made, Fire Emblem or otherwise. And so for them to abandon that art style and go for these other art styles in 3D has been more disappointing to me. So I would really like to go back to something like that. But,
I mean, this is the most expensive, probably, and the most graphically intense Fire Emblem. I think that's $70. It's Switch 2, so they're gonna use this to showcase what it can do. Like, I think the little thing from the Direct where you're running through the city, like, that already looks better than anything Pokemon had in the past, and certainly better than the other 2 Fire Emblem games on the Switch.
Yeah,
but
it's got this big giant overworld map that is a little bit like Awakening, honestly. Where Awakening, you could go and do these little skirmish battles or go do these shops across this wide overworld, and so this game seems to also have that, but is building in the monastery kind of stuff of... You have 172 quote unquote turns to do things. And part of those turns is going around the map and doing skirmishes, or it actually reminds me a lot of Yesterday Race, which we played on Casual
yeah. For sure.
We have so many time units here that we can use. Do you want to go out to the forest and do something with this? Do you want to stay in the castle and talk to this person? Do you want to upgrade something over here? And each of those things was... Well, yeah, you can do that, but the opportunity cost is that you don't get to go do that thing. So I think there's something interesting about this game giving you a lot of freedom to make the choices that you want to make and see how much of that you can do. I kind of don't want this to be a Persona game where I need to min-max it to be able to unlock everything.
That was going to be my next question. Is like, are you going to follow a guide?
I don't think so. I think I'm kind of just going to play it straight. There might be some things where I go, oh, how do I get that character to join my squad? And I know there are characters that you can recruit. Maybe the game makes it explicit enough. I know.
I always did I like followed a guide for tea time for sure.
Sure, yeah. And Three Houses definitely had some things where they made it pretty obvious what to do if you wanted to recruit that character. But to your point with the tea times or what kind of gifts they like, that was an easy thing to just go pull up a guide for and go, okay, I know which answers to pick, or I know which thing to give
I did that
them.
In Persona for the class quizzes too. It's just like, I'm going to just get through this because this is the least interesting part of the game to me. So like...
And I'll tell you, it really sucks in a Persona game. I've had this happen to me in 5. I had it happen to me in 4, where I tried to play those games straight and... I missed out on a social link by a couple days. Yeah. Or the one that really bummed me out is that for Valentine's Day on Persona 5, I had not quite gotten the S link of the character I wanted to date. So on Valentine's Day, I ended up with Ryuji. I went, fuck, like that. No, that wasn't supposed to happen.
Terrible.
And we both just kind of sat across from each other in the booth and went, well, this sucks. We're both alone on Valentine's Day.
Next question. Yeah. I was going to ask you, you mentioned a comment about you would wait for voice acting to kind of weigh into who you might play as. Do you go subs or dubs when you play one of these?
If they have an English voice acting, I would like to play with that. It's not like anime. With anime, I think I generally prefer subs unless it's a really good dub. But when it comes to a video game that I'm actively playing, especially when it's something like, it's a little bit less with Fire Emblem, I suppose. But if I'm playing an action game, I'm trying to pay attention to the characters, the animations that are happening. I'm trying to hit my parries right or something like that. And so if the barks that are happening are in Japanese, well, that's giving me no information that I can use. So I generally prefer my video games to be in English when I can play them that way. And that's the thing about Dynasty Warriors games. Some of those games have not been dubbed, so you are just kind of running around a battlefield, and an ancient Chinese guy is speaking Japanese because that's where Koei's Koei's from, where Omega Force is from, and that can be tough. And it's like, man, I'm not really understanding what Sao wants me to do because I can't hear him.
How could
I'm
you
trying to fight? Yeah.
How could you?
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. I think that's mid September, I believe.
Yeah, it's like the 17th, I think.
I got it pulled up right here, the 17th. So
look at me.
I will be grabbing that one day of. That is $70. I do not see. So it's either $79.99 for the physical, $69.99 for the digital, or they have the Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Is that Dagdan? Is that how you say that? Dagdan?
Yeah.
Collection. That one will set you back $120, and that's physical only. So I also don't know if this is one of those where it's all on the cart that you would get from Nintendo. I think that's the case. I don't really know.
I don't know if it's one of those game key cards or whatever. I know a lot of people really hate the key cards.
But you can pre-order this right now. There does not seem to be anything that you get for doing that. So it's just a $70 game. You get the whole thing. It looks like. I'm sure there'll be DLC for this at some point in time.
Yeah, they've been getting good and or bad depending on your feelings about DLC. Yeah. But they have definitely been filling since Awakening. They have been filling Fire Emblem games with DLC that have sometimes extra characters, sometimes extra story stuff, and sometimes it's just, hey, here's a map where you can get a lot of money, or here's a map where you can get a lot of experience, or specific weapons. And this game seems like it's primed to do something like that too.
I don't know for certain here, Chase, but I think that this is lower than the cap on the cartridges. So the game file size is estimated 29.5 gigabytes. So that might play off of which, who knows? But
maybe. I'm getting it digitally anyway, so it doesn't matter to me.
Same. I'm excited for that one. I've been pretty radio silent outside of the direct. I haven't really followed a whole lot outside of that.
Well, and you brought this up to me outside of the podcast, but we have another turn-based strategy game that's coming out earlier than that. It's coming out at the end of the month, and that's Star Wars Zero Company. And you asked me, like, hey, is it going to be weird to go from one turn-based strategy game to the other? And I'm like, no, I'm already playing a turn-based strategy game and then going to move into a turn-based strategy game.
And so these aren't, not going to be a problem. They're different enough too, I think.
I think so. And just having them be on different consoles and with certainly with different franchises and feels, I don't think it's going to be a big issue for me to make that switch. But I love this genre, so maybe I'm just easier for that.
Do you have a preference on? I'm obviously going to name a character in Star Wars after you.
I didn't even know you could do that. I thought they were all.
No, I'm pretty sure that you can kind of do the XCOM recruit and go through it. Like you can get down to you can customize actual weapons, like the way they look, and I think it's very granular. Would you want to be a trooper? Would you want to be?
I mean, I normally like being sniper characters.
Okay.
I'll just say this: I don't want to be a Jedi.
No,
don't make me a Jedi. But if you want to make me a trooper, or if you want to make me into a droid or something, go for it. But
I'm trying to see. In Zero Company, you play as the fully customizable main protagonist, Hawks. The game features pre-written story characters called authored operators, non-combat based personnel, and fully custom recruits. So,
cool.
Yeah, that should be fun. I'm very excited for that. There's been some embargo lifting on that, and it seems very cool. From what I'm seeing.
What's the big black droid from
K2SO?
Well, I mean, what's the
it's an Imperial security droid, isn't it?
There you go. Yeah. I think so. I think I'm going to make you into one of those, like one of those big melee fuckers, and I'm going to name it B088Y.
Oh, I like that. B088Y. That is good. That is good. They did release some of the voice acting for this. It looked like there were some known names. Especially for Hawks, they've got the male and female for that. I'm trying really hard to just be pure and not watch a whole lot on this. I've read a few reactions from voices I do trust, but this game was already high on my list. It just needed to not fuck it up. So
yeah. I mean, it's got a good pedigree. It's got a real good team behind it. A team that hasn't necessarily made turn-based strategy games before, but I'm still excited to see what they can come up with here.
Totally.
Despite what Bobby says, I love Star Wars with my whole heart, and so I'm really excited to see a story that is not from the fucking Skywalker saga, except that Anakin Skywalker also fucking shows up for some goddamn reason, but maybe I can ignore him. Well,
he's also kind of a non-legally descript version of him also. I don't know if
yes, sure. It's Hayden Christensen.
It's the Revenger version of Anakin. This is I think I might. So I have a work trip coming up. That's one of the reasons we're taking the last week off. I was just going to take my Thor, which I still plan on taking it, but I'm probably going to be taking my ally so I can play this game on the while I'm gone. So unless
it's going to be tough because the exact same day we're getting the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2, so that's Peace Walker's coming that day.
I am going to check it out because I think it looks cool. I have not played the other Plague Tales, but that new one kind of had, like we talked, like this feels like an Assassin's Creed, so I'm at least going to check that out and see what it feels like. But I think it's going to be all Star Wars for me for a bit.
And I know we're going to be big walking. We were already talking about it, but man, there's a hell of a slate of video games that we could do for casual Mondays between Big Walk, between Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, which I think would make for an excellent series for us to play on Mondays, and then Orbitals comes out September 3rd too. So like that's another game that we definitely want to play together. That might be something we play on my channel.
One of those needs to just be over there, so we have like an excuse to play through it. Because I feel very strongly that I need to put time into Big Walk. Like I feel
me too. I think Big Walk is like game of the year potential. Yeah. So I definitely want to have more time with that. I think Orbitals could be really fun. I agree. Love that art style. I think it's going to be great, but I also don't think it's necessarily going to be anything all that much better than something like Split Fiction, which we played together and had a really good time.
Or that Lego one, Voyagers. We never played that.
Yeah, we didn't play that. That's also an option. We have a ton of stuff we can play on our various channels for the casual hour and for me.
There's definitely like we're going to be skipping our normal week for the preview, but we'll come back and do that I think on the 10th. Yeah. There's just a lot. Like September's fucking stacked right now. So we'll see how it goes. All right, Chase, let me get us out of here. Over on the credits, you will learn about what we do, which is video games and other fun things. And this week we played ReStory on Monday night. That VOD is available if you go to thecasualhour.com. You can find out all that. And I will just throw it out here. I've been not so secretly working on a website for us, Chase. So there might be a new, fresh, paint to see out there for our site. Right now we use a Linktree landing page, and I was just like, maybe I can do this. So I've been playing around with some stuff, and it may come, it may not, might fall apart, but I'm working on it at least. So you can follow along with all of our fun stuff there. thecasualhour.com, or here in chat. We'll have it listed as well. Chase, you are busy eternally. What are you busy with right now?
Seems like it. Yeah, I mentioned my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, Chase Koeneke Plays, which who knows, maybe Orbitals will be on there at some point, or maybe Peace Walker. Could be some cool things to do with Bobby. But currently, I am playing through Super Mario RPG, the remake that came out a couple of years ago, in a series called Super Chase Koeneke RPG, and that's it's been good. It's been good to get into that game. Super Mario RPG was not a game that I had played outside.
How far are you at this point?
Rental. I got my 3rd star.
Okay.
So I have 3 characters in my party. I got Gino, but I know other characters show up. Some unlikely people show up and become allies in your party at some point. So I'm looking forward to those things happening. But that game's been pretty good so far. Even if it's really just kind of seeing the bones of what would eventually become Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi games, which I am a huge fan of. It's cool to see the foundation of those. I don't think we'll get another RPG, but I think we'll get more of those other 2. Yeah, definitely. I would love to see a new proper Paper Mario, but it also seems like the Paper Mario games have always been trying to find new gimmicks for the last handful of entries. Although
Origami King was pretty good.
Origami King was okay, yeah.
I think it was good, man. I love
but most recently, we got the remake of Thousand Year Door, which was really good, and that is much more of a traditional RPG Paper Mario game. So hopefully that did well, and maybe Nintendo goes, "Oh, we should probably make more of those traditional RPGs like Paper Mario." That'd be great. So all that stuff's pretty good. I also have a podcast I do with my good friend Pierce Corshane. It's called Pilot Program, where Pierce and I watch the first episodes of every television show ever made. Pierce has been pretty busy lately, so I don't think we're going to be recording anything until probably late September. But our next episode is going to be on Andor. So a lot of Star Wars talk happening, both with Zero Company coming out and the Andor episode coming up. That's pretty fun and exciting. But we have 50 other episodes that you can go listen to on a bunch of really cool TV shows, and also The Shield, which is not a cool TV show, but you can listen to any of our episodes about all those different TV shows at acast.com/pilot program. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Good stuff.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you all for listening, and we will be back on Monday with some games to play. But check out some of Chase's stuff in between now and then, and we'll see you all next week.